If you've ever set the hook fishing fluorocarbon on a jig or a Texas rig or any kind of thing that you have like a big hook set.
What is going on?
And you broke your line and you were pretty sure your line was good, there's no abrasion, it was a fresh knot, and you're not sure why, then this knot might be for you. I'm going to give you my knot that I use for fluorocarbon, and it's not the polymer knot, and I'll tell you why. So fishing jigs, when I switched to fluorocarbon for fishing jigs, which a lot of us do, 95, 99% of the time, it worked just fine. But every now and then, on a fresh knot that I hadn't used much, I would go to set the hook, and I set the hook pretty hard.
That's a good one.
A bit of a slackliner myself. I would break off, and I'd get a weird little end on my line, and I'd be wondering why. And here's the deal. If you tie the polymer perfect, the polymer should work with fluorocarbon, mono, braid, it shouldn't matter. But if you don't get it perfect every single time, you're putting yourself at risk. So there's a better knot for that, and I'll explain that here in a second. I'm going to show it to you, slow it down, show it a couple different ways, and then talk about but before that I want to talk about the knots I do use for which lines. So for mono, for braid, I pretty much do use the polymer knot exclusively. It's quick, it's fast, it's strong, it's efficient, but I've stopped using it for fluorocarbon. The only exception is on a drop shot, I still will tie a polymer knot, and then just the way you can feed the tag end back through to get it to sit straight on a drop shot, that is pretty much the only time I will tie a polymer knot with fluorocarbon. So what I do tie is the double pitzen, and that's what I use on my jigs, my Texas rigs, things like that. You can see when you get up close, it actually has 3 tag ends. Let's talk about how you tie the double pitzen. And I don't have any issues. Basically what happens is if you don't tie your polymer knot perfectly, it can basically cut itself a little bit and kind of cinch down. When you cinch it down, and you can just burn the line, and it can break, creating a weak spot in your line. So if you literally are 100% confident, never had an issue with a polymer knot in your entire life on fluorocarbon, you can probably stop watching the video. This ain't for you. But if you've ever had just one time that you weren't sure and you're looking at a knot that might help you out here, let me show you the double pitzen. So jig, I'm actually going to show this with mono here because this red mono hopefully will show up. But basically I still double it through just like the polymer knot. But basically I'm going to loop it over. I'm going to pinch the line here, got my double knot. I'm going to go over, make a loop around my index finger. And then basically I'm going to loop around this line 3 to 4 times. It's kind of like a double San Diego jam knot, but I'm not going to go through that bottom loop. And then now that loop I've created with my top finger, I put my wrapping loop around that, pull that tight, and you do end up with a loop and a tag end. Take your favorite scissors and you trim it, and you do end up with 3 tag ends, but you get double line through there. You get a very strong knot, and that's what I use it for all my flipping, big hook set, fluorocarbon applications. Let's slow this down with a little bit of an illustration here, show you it one more time. Now, when you're tying something small, it can be a little tricky to get the tension right. So let me show you a quick tip on that. So when I'm tying on like just a hook, not a jig, not a spinner bait, nothing too crazy, you might find that once you create your loop, double back through the hook, to try to get enough tension to create this loop and wrap can be tricky. So what I like to do is take my scissors, or you could use a heavier lure or whatever, just basically create a little weight on your hook. And then you can quickly make that loop. 1, 2, 3. Feed it back through that top loop. like so. And when you pull it down, you got a little something else. Kind of pull, you tighten up all 3 of those. And the scissors are already in your hand for trimming off those 3 tag ends. So that's a quick little, like when you're tying a wacky rig or a Texas rig hook and you ain't got much weight, that is a nice way to do it. If you want more helpful information like that, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Now that you got your knot tied down and you want a rig that catches them just about everywhere, any place you go, check out this video on the screen right here next.